Welcome to Tiger Talk, your source for information about your hometown and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by...
And Tiger Talk this morning brought to you by Whistle Stop Donuts, Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Katie's, delicious homemade goodness, String Beans Coffee House, Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes, Hank by Perry's Floors and more. And stay tuned because Tiger's Talk is coming up next.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. And remember, after 11 a.m., donuts are only $5 per dozen through August 8th. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon, Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
All right, at 8:06 here on Tiger Talk, I have the pleasure of welcoming Roy Gene Rogers and George Kilgore into the WPKY studios. How are you gentlemen this morning?
Doing well.
Doing okay this morning,
right.
yes.
Hey, beautiful weather we've been having. You kidding? We had a great festival in Fredonia over the weekend.
True.
Wasn't that fantastic?
Great weather, great weather. Hope it's the same for Blackpatch.
Boy, yeah. And the Lions Club down there did a great job. It was a great time for everybody who showed up, and I think everybody just enjoyed it. And we just hope that for our Blackpatch, which is coming, Blackpatch. If I can say it, I need some more coffee, but it's coming. And we're less than a month away now here. It's September the 9th, Saturday, and let's talk about it. What kind of fun-filled activities can we expect from our Blackpatch this year?
Go ahead, George.
Well, we're still in the process of taking applications for booths and all, but it is coming together. The community and the vendors have been doing really well about getting their applications to us, and that is so important. As we've mentioned several times before, we're going to have to do some changes up with our placement of booths because of electrical needs, plus some additions that we've added this year that we're going to have to move some things around. So it's very important that we find out, but things are coming in good. The other activities that we don't necessarily sponsor but kind of promote and talk about along with Blackpatch is coming in. We've got several of them we'll be glad to put out there today to tell everybody what's going on, but it seems like it's going along pretty good. Roy Jean is in charge of our kiddie rides and things like that. So
And we're going to have the same ones we had last year. They contacted me about 2 months ago and told them, yes, if you provide the same thing, because everyone really enjoyed that little bubble, water, whatever you call it. I don't know the proper name for it, but they're bringing it back and the same rides they had last year. So I think we're going to be set up at the very same location with those because we do have the electric power there.
Right.
Square Dance Band, we got them back for one more year. Same ones will be set up down at the right in front of Bros for that. And we're still, like George said, we're still getting calls. I had 3 or 4 calls this weekend and talked to some people at Fredonia that had their booth set up and talked to them about maybe the possibility of coming. So it's looking good. Of course, the parade's going to kick us off. George is in charge of that. There are hopefully going to be other activities before the parade, but the parade looks like it's going to come together pretty good.
And let's talk about our parade for a minute.
Yes.
The Grand Marshals were announced, and I think you all did a fantastic job in selecting those 2 gentlemen. Of course, you got Twyman Bourne, longtime broadcaster here at WPKY, and just for years, over 30 years. And then, of course, Richard Jones, who has been on the fire department and served this community in all kinds of ways. So I know those gentlemen are excited, and we hope to have them come in and talk about that as well.
They are, and each year when we get to thinking about Grand Marshals for the parade, we try to look for people that have been active in the community and donated and been a part of it for years that have kind of been in the background. Of course, Twyman, you heard him on the radio all the time, but he wasn't one that sought out recognition for that, and just done a lot. I've forgotten how many football games he said, 300 and something that he personally covered.
No doubt about it.
Plus the other activities that he did, and for Richard, this is his 50th year on the fire department.
Yes.
And so, figure it up. He had to be he wasn't a
He started
10-year
early.
Yeah, he wasn't a 10-year-old when he started. So to say that and to get out and to answer those calls, and he's been involved with the record service, people that needed that service. But both of these men have just been good, solid people in our community, and each year we look at different aspects. Last year we kind of went with the faith-based community. This year we just trying to think of somebody that would be well-deserved. And both these men, whenever I talk to them, well, why me? How come? And kind of explain to them what we was looking at, and they agreed to serve. It's a real nice honor for us for them to be able to do that, and we're looking forward to that. And talking about the parade at Fredonia was a nice parade the other night.
Yes.
And we want to encourage and invite everybody that was a part of that to come up and be a part of the Blackpatch parade.
Some of the church groups, I talked to some Saturday, and I'd like to encourage the churches in this community to just get you a wagon, a trailer, a truck, and come be part of the parade. A lot of those that were in the Fredonia parade were from area churches in that area down there, but we want to encourage them and invite them to come to be in this one.
And it's nice to see everybody be involved, and you can be as elaborate as you want. You can get there and dress and doll those things up, but you don't have to.
No.
You can just throw some kids and your Sunday school classes on a trailer and a tractor and just ride down the street and wave and throw candy. It's just be a part of it.
And you're talking about tractors. Some of the tractors they had in that parade were nice, and it's old tractors, and
you don't get to see them all the time.
No, you don't, and it's nice to see that. Brings back a lot of memories for a lot of us back in the day.
Sure,
seeing that. So we'd like to encourage them to come up, and the cars. I mean, they just had a really nice selection of in the parade.
That's something we're needing. We don't have a cruise in yet. We have not had those contacts this year that we normally do in the past. That's usually
like a classic car cruise in, And if you're out there listening and you want to be a part of that, or if that's something like, hey, we need to have that, then get in touch with one of these guys.
Yeah, I got some numbers Saturday that I'm going to let George make those contacts, but we do need some classic cars. We need. I'll throw this in. A dealership out of Hopkinsville will be bringing new cars in. And that's something we've been missing for, I guess, 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even longer than that. But they contacted us, and they're going to be bringing some new cars. The 2018s are coming out, and they're going to be bringing some of those.
Yeah, I think they usually come out in November or sometime around there. They're toward the end of the year, and so that's great. And I know I don't know if you've done this before, but I know you had several sessions here locally out at Hardee's. You were collecting the applications and kind of an information session for folks that are wanting to. Are you going to have any more of those leading up?
I feel like that was a good move for us this year, because it gave the community a chance, and some did, just to come out and say, hey, I've got a question about this. And you said you're going to have changes. What would be involved in actually having a booth? So yes, we're actually going to continue to meet at Hardee's through Blackpatch every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday.
At 6 o'clock. It's going to be our regular meetings, and anyone's welcome to come out and ask questions, see where we're at, and just get some information about Blackpatch on that.
And if someone has an activity they want to add, something they want to do or sponsor,
you're open to
talk to us. Yeah, we are. Something we talked about Twyman and Richard a while ago. The county government, city government, those people, those workers are there, and we definitely could not have a Blackpatch Festival without those people, those workers, and we appreciate them, appreciate what they do, and it's a community effort, and hopefully others out there are listening, and they might have some idea or something that they want us to do or they want to sponsor, and we're open to that.
Wesley Curtis has brought by the flyer for the gospel singing.
Yes.
He had the Neelands at First Baptist Church, and that's a good get. And I know everybody loves that gospel singing there. And it's a good way to
big crowd.
for
that
the
was
evening.
another thing that we had been lacking 13 years ago, and time gets by. And Wesley said, "Hey, how about if I get together a gospel concert for that night?" And we said, "Well, yeah,
Just
Of
do
course,
it, man.
With that, with that,
Do it, man.
He inherited it for 13 years, and he's done a good job with it.
He has, and that's his passion, and he
it
does,
is.
you know.
And different people have different things they're involved with in organizations, so we're always glad to have that. At this time, we're still waiting to hear back a word for some of the pageants. The group that done 5 of our pageants is not going to be able to do it this year, and we thought we might have had a direction we're going in, and that didn't work. But I'm supposed to get a word back today on
Okay.
that, so if we hear that. But the Tiny Miss and Tiny Master is set.
Well, good.
The National Honor Society at the high school is going to be doing that on August the 26th at 5 p.m. in the Fine Arts Building. So that is ages 0 through up to 2 years old, I believe, is the way that is.
Okay. 0 to 2.
0 to 2, tiny.
So you might so you got the
Yeah.
0. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
right,
pretty
we got
fresh.
that.
But I
Gotta be
mean,
here.
but maybe the next you got to at least be here.
I mean, like the Democrat Women's Club, you can't turn 2 after, or the cutoff date is
That's
September
right.
the 9th.
Is the Blackpatch Day. That's right. Is it the same for that?
Well,
we
I'm
know?
not sure.
Okay.
Leanne Morse,
Okay.
a teacher at the high school,
Okay,
is
she's-
the contact
Okay.
person for that, could get you all the definite details.
Okay.
Mentioned the cutest baby contest. They have changed that up this year. The Democratic Women's Group sponsoring that, and instead of having it on the street this year where you put the money in there, I'm not sure all the details.
They got
but
judges coming in.
I've been reading it on the community
Yes.
news, and out of town panel. They're gonna judge them, and then they're gonna be displayed at Jackson and Chalk, I think.
Right.
And then of course the winner will be announced. I think September the 4th, and
in
they'll
time
be
to be in the parade.
in the
yes.
parade Friday night. So that's
And
great.
Carol Woodall and Susan Campbell, the two people
Exactly.
to contact on that.
Yeah.
And that's what we, each year with Blackpatch, the Optimist Club kind of coordinates it, but each individual group is in charge of it. So we try to get the word out and encourage
You
again, more
delegate.
group.
Yeah, you
well,
delegate.
we don't want 4 or 5 beauty pageants of the same age group or something like that overlapping on each other. So that's the reason. It's like George said, we coordinate the activities.
Sure.
And to make sure we got another event coming up on Saturday night. George can give you more details on that. And I'll mention real quick the farmers market and the yard sale. If you're out there listening and you want a booth for farmers market, and I'm still looking for someone that's going to be selling sorghum and honey. We've had a lot of requests for those, and I hope someone's listening that can contact, maybe one of our Mennonites or Amish or some other farmer that will have sorghum and honey that we can set up. But if you're still needing a booth or you want a booth for either one of those activities, contact us and we can make sure you get it. But we do have an event coming up that night that pretty excited about.
On the farmers market, I'll just add there, we've already got applications turned in for a group that's going to be selling homemade pies, cakes, cookies, and different things like that. And also another one for homemade fudge that's going to be falling
Oh,
under
yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
farmers market. And anything
Yeah.
that's homemade like that, we'll throw it in with the farmers market, whether it be corn, vegetables, or whatever, or homemade goodies like that.
And I got homemade soap.
Yeah,
you
and-
saw
yeah,
that.
Yeah, and Audrey bought some.
Yeah, she did.
She came
She
down
did.
and got some. So I like the bourbon. So I said, well,
Well,
I'm not sipping. I'm just sniffing today. That's the way I put it. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
with
one
the
thing we're excited about adding in the years past, we've had the teen dance and different things like that is for various reasons that's not there anymore. But this year we're going to be adding a live concert on Saturday night. We haven't announced that yet. We just put it together over the weekend. The Justin Reynolds Band out of Katie's, and it's got some local people that are part of that.
Yeah.
They have
He's
been,
got a good following too.
They do,
does.
and they've been doing a lot of concerts around, and a really talented group, part of the Grandstaff family, local, that everybody knows is a part of that band. They're going to be doing a 3-hour concert for us that night down in the area where we're going to have our focus on Caldwell County. Probably be down toward in front of the 1 Hour Cleaners, Princeton 1 Hour Cleaners.
Okay.
In that area at the end of the street.
That's wonderful.
We haven't set the time, but we're looking at 6 to 9.
6 to 9, so that we can
something like that.
get it off the
And
streets.
from
Yep.
what Justin says, I've talked to him 2 or 3 times on this, that they do, contemporary country, oldies, some Led Zeppelin, and
Yeah.
some just a variety of music. They may even throw some gospel music in there. I know they do a lot of music like that, but we're excited about that. It's a new avenue for us to be able to draw and provide that, because we've got the
Gospel
the
singing
traditional,
going on, and then
Yeah.
the
Yes.
square dance, and then throw this in.
Little something for everybody,
Yeah,
really.
a lot of more activities, and to come out and just shop around, look and see what is there available, get you something to eat, and enjoy the music.
You all enjoy some Whistle Stop Donuts here for a second. We're going to take a String Beans coffee break and a Mrs. McLovett's cupcake break and a Whistle Stop break here. And we'll be back. Let's catch our breath. And we've got something new about Caldwell County, kind of a section that I want to touch on when we come back. And we'll continue here on Tiger Talk at 8:20 with Roy Gene Rogers and George Kilgore. They're with the Princeton Optimist Club. And we're talking the Blackpatch Heritage Festival here on Tiger Talk on WPKY The Tiger. Back in a moment.
String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks, hot, over ice, or frozen. They serve lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. Like them on Facebook to view their weekly menu. They also rent out the back room for birthday parties, anniversary parties, and baby showers. That's String Beans Coffee House, 108 East Main Street, Princeton. Give them a call, 270-365-0550. Shh! It's Princeton's best-kept secret. Pardon me?
Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes in downtown Princeton. It's truly the best-kept secret in Princeton. Come down and enjoy a delicious homemade cupcake made from scratch and only from the finest ingredients. While downtown, enjoy a sweet treat on the patio in front of our shop. It's a delightful way to spend a moment with a friend or someone you love. Check out Instagram and Facebook for the Mrs. McLovett's Flavor of the Week. Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes on Lower Main in Princeton, where there's always room for a cupcake. Phone 270-963-2544 to place an order.
And we are back here at Tiger Talk at 8:22, and we are talking the Blackpatch Heritage Festival with Roy Gene Rogers and George Kilgore, the Princeton Optimist Club. And something new this year, it's kind of different and exciting, is kind of our Caldwell County. I'll call it Caldwell County Quarter. I don't know what you guys are calling it, but there's a section kind of around the court square there in front of I think it's going to be in the courthouse annex area from what.
Right, it is. And that comes from the changes. We talked about they're going to be.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, there was an accident that took out one of our main electrical supplies there by the old Ratliff building. So Randy Jordan, another gentleman and his company, those guys that work for him, tremendous in helping us. So Randy is now working at getting some of the poles that we've had in the past that have been dormant, that he's now making those hot for us once again. And so we're going to have to move people. And you may be looking for, well, I'm going to use the Democrat Women's Club, normally right there by Jackson and Shollick. And they're going to be, they do have a booth, I hope, don't they? Yeah, okay. They're going to be setting up down towards Danny Hooks. It may be down in that. That's an area that we're emphasizing Caldwell County. But some of your food vendors that you always found
in a certain spot.
Yeah, a certain spot. Well, they're going to be moved. They're going to be at a different location. We talked this morning as we was coming in. What we're going to try to do is to keep Main Street. Lots of times if you come up there at 6 o'clock at night, you found a vacant spot or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So we're putting booths in that area so that there'll be something there up and down the street till hopefully closing time around 9 o'clock. But again, changes are necessary, and hopefully, you'll be walking around, you'll say, well, this booth used to be here, wonder if they're not here this year. Walk around a little bit more, and I'm sure you're going to find them. Because we do have, most of our old faithfuls are back.
And that's a good thing, though, because what it can do is help somebody discover something different. You
Right.
know, like you're hunting for that thing, but you might,
Explore a
but then you might find something. Oh, I've never seen that before, and that's what's kind of cool. I think about Blackpatch too is that. You got your old mainstays. You got your places especially where you want to eat. Usually they're back, but you never know what you're going to find and what new things come in. Seems like every year there's always something a little different.
Corn. I was telling George, I guess about a couple of weeks ago, got a telephone call. Corn kettle corn.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's one of the vendors that sets up at the state fair.
Yeah, that stuff's good.
Yeah, they called and I said, well, sure, we can find a spot for you. And with them, they don't need a lot of electricity. They run off of those gas tanks, and so they're going to be. Hopefully, they are going to be here. I sent them an application and haven't heard back from them, but that'll be something a little different.
I'm just hoping we're going to have iguanas and the bull ride. That's if I got the iguanas and the bull ride, I'm good for Blackpatch.
We got that. That's
my kid brought an iguana home
Yep.
every year, that's Blackpatch to me, or a goldfish. Maybe,
I was thinking about catching some black snakes or something and put.
We got a few around here, don't we?
And all of our placements will be based on basically those two issues: electrical needs, plus the local Caldwell County group that we're going to put there together.
Yeah.
A lot of those are maybe just information. They're going to be maybe selling raffles for, different fundraisers, different things like that through that area. But we're going to have the end of the street there between the old radio station and the courthouse totally open. In the past, there's been some booths across there that's kind of blocked that. So we want to encourage everyone when they're in town that day, just make your plans to make the complete loop. It should be open up. You look down there and say, "Whoa, there's several things down there."
And last year you had yard sales down there, I think,
Right.
didn't you? Yeah,
Yes.
that was the yard sale area.
We're going to try to keep. We are going to keep it completely open there at the end,
that's
so there'll
great.
be nothing obstructing the view or the flow of traffic down through there.
And then that band will be set up down
Right.
there, probably toward the end.
They'll
down
be at
there.
the end.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're
That'll be
excited
great.
about it.
And we got 2 cakewalks again this year, and arts and crafts is going to be up and down the street.
Yeah, the art on Main
Art
and
on
art
Main.
and craft. Yeah, that'll be there in front of the Art Guild and Miss McLovett's. That stretch there.
That's
Yeah.
what we were understanding. Yes.
They have from the crosswalk there at String Beans down to the alley
At Miss
the
McLovett's.
Cupcakes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they will be on both sides of the streets down through there. So that's
So that's a little different this year.
It is.
Mhm.
It's and again another need for moves because all the booths that excuse me we had down in that area have to be moved somewhere else to give them the room to do the art on Main. Petting Zoo, we're still working on details.
I was just
going to
ask about that. So there's
James
still some.
Allen Boone is doing that, and he's working on it.
That's a
making
family
plans.
favorite. It really
Yes,
is.
It is.
It is.
And the tractor pull.
The pedal tractor pool.
Yeah.
FFA is going to be
Of
down
course,
on that
they
end
do
of
a
the street
fantastic
again.
job. They were in Fredonia doing that.
Mhm,
My
yes.
daughter helped with that, and I think they had a big time over there doing that. West York and everybody at the FFA and
Right.
Megan would do a fantastic job with that. And you guys touch on it every time we talk about Blackpatch. And these festivals, especially like Fredonia, it's a homecoming.
Yeah.
You see folks that you don't get to see all the time. And
I
that's-
missed my, it was my 50th reunion, I believe.
You're aging
I
yourself.
was, yes. I was at a wedding in Ballard County when that took place a couple of weeks ago. And, but Saturday, I saw 7 of my classmates.
At the festival
Yes.
in Fredonia.
And we talked about some things that had happened, and then I saw a lot of other people. But the Blackpatch is where a lot of my former students, I'll be walking up and down the street, somebody come up and say, "Hey, you remember me?" No.
Then somebody might yell, "You're a good old goat."
Yeah, something like that, But
Or something.
But it is a homecoming. We have people that are out of state that have been coming to Blackpatch, I think, for the last 15, 20 years. They came in one time, excuse me, and was doing research on their family history. And it just happened to fall on Blackpatch week or weekend. And so they've been coming back. And not only it's man, his wife, now there's, 2 or 3 or 4 others of that same family that come in, and it's like a homecoming.
Well, I moved here in September of 1980. okay,
Yes.
from Florida. As a little kid, I was in 7th grade, and the first weekend I was here was Blackpatch, and my little brother and I, Jay, was in 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade, I think. We thought we had died and gone to hell. This Princeton, Kentucky. I mean, we were scared to death because we moved a long way away.
Right.
Didn't know anybody, but there was Blackpatch, and we'd never seen anything. I mean, it was fun. I mean, and it helped a whole lot, sort of get us integrated in a comfort zone. You know, we saw some kids. We'd maybe been to school just for a few days. You know, because then that weekend was Blackpatch.
And it all depends on how you look at things. If a person is saying, well, I'm going to go do my shopping for the year at Blackpatch, you know, that's probably going to be disappointing for them. But if you come to just say, hey, you know, I'm going to go up and just see people, see what's there, I might find something I want.
You
I
definitely
might
get you a
not.
bratwurst or a pork chop sandwich.
Get you something to eat and just visit.
Funnel cake.
And you
Just
take
visit.
the northern part of the county and the southern part. I mean, you know, those people don't get together. I mean, we go back to when tobacco cutting, you know, several years ago when people were cutting tobacco. Well, that was an opportunity for them to come to town and kind of celebrate a little bit. And you'd see farmers from down in Fredonia and on down in that area up here, and they'd be talking to those from
Cobb and down that way.
and you know, it was an opportunity. Today, a little bit different. You got
Sure.
social media, but still yet, you see people standing and talking and laughing, and that's what it's all about.
And
It
even with
is.
social media, you don't talk. I mean, face to face.
Right.
You know, we text.
Right.
We, do all these other things, but it's a chance just to have a face to face visit, and you could spend several hours, if not all day, just seeing people. Just
You can.
standing around and visiting, and that's what, to me, again, Blackpatch is all about. The community getting together and just enjoying some.
It is heritage, and it is a
Yeah, it
celebration.
is.
It is. And,
I mean, you go back, used to, there were 18 counties that were involved in the Blackpatch in Tennessee and Kentucky.
right.
And by the way, this is our 80th anniversary. Be celebrating, and in our booklet this year, Stacy Mincer will be covering some of those events. So this is the 80th anniversary of the Blackpatch,
Wow. Yeah.
and I think I've been here for all of them.
Pretty.
That's one thing I wanted to mention too. Our booklet, our Blackpatch.
Yeah. Let's talk about the booklet.
We started that. This is our third year. To have the Blackpatch booklet,
And it's a very helpful booklet and very
it's-
informational about it.
It is, because it starts out. It'll have a schedule of activities for the day, because that was always one of the big questions. Well, what time is this or that happening? And it'll have a schedule of activities. It has a section in there on our grand marshals with some information on them. And as Roy Jean said, you know, there's just information on Blackpatch in general. And by this being the 80th year, I know Stacy's put some
Yeah.
research into that. getting the
How does that get
information.
distributed? That book?
Yeah, we sell ads for it.
Yes.
And we've tried to keep our ad rates down, and that's what I've seen going around asking businesses or groups. They say, well, that's the cheapest that we've done
Right.
on that. And we sell the ads on it, and that basically, it pays to print the book, and it helps us with expenses, because there's expenses that
Yes.
come with Blackpatch. Advertising, there's
Bands.
we have to pay for, just the general stuff, that has to come out of our funds for that.
And this year, I think we're going to have 1,500 of those,
Yes, 14, 15.
14 or
something like that.
1,500.
Of those
right.
booklets.
And we
yeah.
pass them
So-
out free.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
So
Yeah.
there's not any charge for it. Everybody that takes an ad out gets some booklets back. Then we'll put them in public places around for people to pick up. And what we've seen, people pick them up and they read them. I was talking to a lady the other day. She said, I remember that. I found it in my car the other day from last year. And I remember that. But people pick those up and they read it. It's been good for our businesses.
They're kind of neat to collect too. I
Right.
mean, you can collect that. I mean, you
Right.
save them every year.
And some of our business will do a Blackpatch special in there. I know one I've talked to says, well, I'm going to get something I'm going to do specially on Blackpatch. They may have a Blackpatch special, or it may just be their general ad to pick up. And again, we pass those out free. This is our last week of selling those ads, because we try to get them out 2 weeks ahead of time, where people have plenty of time to look, make their plans, what they want to do, and also have a chance to look through there and see the ads and, you know, what all people are around. And we've got some this year that's never put one in before, and I think it'll be informational that what the community has to offer as far as businesses to do that.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a nice book.
yeah, mentioning that, a lot of our local organizations When I say local, I'm even talking about, Hopkins County and others that come in. It's a fundraiser. This is one of their major fundraisers for the year. And it provides them an opportunity to raise a little money. I think we got a senior class from Dawson Springs that's going to be here. I know in years past we've had the Boy Scouts, but we have Wild Turkey Federation and several that come in that actually it's a fundraiser.
These vendors is a fundraising booth, and fantastic.
Tyler, another thing, we talked about the different activities. I just run through a few of them that we know of so far. The Kiwanis have their annual pancake breakfast at Ogden every Blackpatch morning. I think the hours are like 6 to 10 or something like that. It's a big fundraiser for them, and it's a nice time to go in and sit down and have a good breakfast before you start.
And it is a good
around.
breakfast.
And anybody just contact any of the Kiwana members on that to get the information on it. The Butler reunion, the Butler Caldwell County reunion, is always held on Blackpatch Day
sure
in
is.
the Butler area, and I know they have a guest speaker coming in, and I think that starts at 10 o'clock that morning on that. That night, the Soccer Association has
big
alumni
Big
game.
alumni game.
Yeah, I believe it's going to get bigger or larger, more participants than as it goes
you
along.
read about a lot of youth soccer things, and this is the oldie goldies.
the oldie goldies.
And the ones that in it say, well, as long as there's a EMS close by, we might be all right. But that's at 7 o'clock on the Butler field there, the soccer field. The Friends of the Library has their annual book sale. They sell a lot of books out of the library. That's on Saturday the 2nd, and then it'll continue the next week, all Blackpatch week, from the 5th through the 8th. And that's just, we've mentioned a lot of the others.
Just a part of it.
Yeah, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
And again, if any group would like to sponsor something or have an activity and call it Blackpatch, just get with us and we'll be glad to help.
It's just
promote
4
that.
Saturdays away.
One thing that at the Fredonia Festival, the little bouncies, the little houses were all free. They were sponsored by someone. It was either last year or the year before. Markham's Automotive sponsored one. They paid for it and brought it in. It was set up. That's something that
It's an idea or a
it
thought
is
somebody
that
can
of
do,
a church. I know
several churches. I think.
churches went together down there and sponsored those. So if somebody wanted to sponsor one of those, we'd definitely find a place for them, and that would help out. I know one thing that we hear every year is they're expensive, and I agree, but that would be something that someone might want to take a look at and sponsor.
In years past, we've had Frisbee throws and all different things that have been for a while. And, if a group wanted to pick up something like that, we'd love to have more activities involved with it, to get more people involved and just be a bigger community activity.
If they're listening right now and they say, hey, I want to do something, throw me some numbers out there where they can get in touch. And
625-8774.
Okay.
625-3427.
Okay.
And on our Facebook,
Book
if you're on
page.
Facebook, we have
do
a
that.
Blackpatch Heritage Festival. And we check that regularly, and we've answered several questions. We've had people request applications on there, or just say, hey, what about this, what about that? And we try to monitor that. We're not on it all the time, but we try to monitor at least daily to get back with people and answer any questions. Plus, we post all of these activities that we have listed here. We try to keep
You try to keep an updated schedule of that.
And we'll be putting the information on there about our night singing coming up. I haven't got that posted yet. Again, like I said, we've just got that put together. And so we're announcing that this morning.
And there's still lots of work to be done, and this is a work in progress, even up until the week.
You helped us with the radio auction, so you know how many members we have, and it's something that we've all got to work at. Again, if you want to pick up an application, Julie still has them
At City Hall.
at City Hall. Julie Key, she has some at City Hall that
Booth
you can run.
applications.
Yeah, you can run by there and pick one up. But
Or drop it off there. You can
For
mail
the
it back to
the Blackpatch,
yes,
And don't forget on Tuesdays as well, in the evenings out at Hardee's. You guys will
right.
be out there.
We'll be there
up
at 6
until
o'clock.
6 o'clock
every
we-
Tuesday from
yep.
now to then.
from now until the last Tuesday there before Blackpatch.
Correct.
Right.
So be sure you do that, folks. And if you want to get involved, do get in touch with the Princeton Optimist Club. Again, there's applications down at City Hall with Julie Key, or contact George or Roy Jean. and be a part of this great Heritage Festival that we have here in Princeton. And it's just 4 Saturdays away,
Right.
It's coming.
as soon as you shake your, I tell you, this is probably one of the busiest Augusts I can remember for me, and not because you throw the eclipse in there too. It's just it's just boom, boom, boom all the time. But you guys do a fantastic. The Princeton Optimist Club, can't say enough about their efforts. What you all do here in the community. Let's talk about that briefly before we let you go. You all provide scholarships. You give money when kids. It all go back to the youth of the community. We do this, and this one isn't necessarily that. This isn't a huge. This is a big deal for the community that you all just sort of coordinate.
Right.
But your other activities like your radio auction, your good old goat clubs, and all that. Those monies that raised, they go directly back to help the youth of this community.
We've got scholarships in Caldwell and Lyon County.
Yeah.
And, that's just another thing. Founders Day is coming up, but any of those guys that are down at Founders Day that want to set up a booth up here, we'd be glad to have those come in and fill out an application.
Yeah, Founders Day coming up 23rd, 24th, somewhere through there that weekend, the 26th. And, so if you're listening out there, you're part of Founders Day, come on up and get involved with the Princeton Blackpatch
give us a
as well.
call or check out the Facebook page.
And we help a lot of the organizations and individuals. If a club or a group or an individual is qualified to move on in state level or national level, there's expenses associated with it.
Yeah, and you've helped us, the radio station here, with some of our posts.
Sponsored one of your interns, I think, and went to state competition.
State competition, I believe that's right,
Read
Darren.
Across America.
I mean, that's
every child in the system, school system, gets a book to read.
So you all do fantastic work, and this is just one of the many things that you all take on, and you say with limited numbers.
Right.
And
We do accept applications for membership.
Yeah, and it is a great organization because I've been a part of it before. There's no reason why I shouldn't be a part of it again. But they do need volunteers and helps, and if you want to be a member of the Princeton Optimist Club, check them out because it's an international organization as well.
Hey, one other thing, I just saw that vehicle go by. What's his name? Lindsay from Channel 6.
Oh yeah,
He's
Jason Lindsay.
Jason, he's been coming up, putting on a show for us, but this year he had another obligation, so we contacted Jimmy Dyer.
Okay.
And Jimmy was going to do it, but then there was a trip planned. Southside, is that right? Or Second Baptist, somebody, I don't know. Wherever he goes to church, there's a trip that's planned that he's going to have to go with, and he's not going to be able to do it. So if someone listening knows an individual that we can get to come in and do a little scientific show or something like that, let us know. And then one other thing we're missing this year is the tents. We don't have those. People have been really enjoying coming in, and Brother David Scott, he'd set those up and have tables and chairs. Yeah, and we don't have that this year. So again, that's something that a church or someone could think about helping us out.
I can't recall where those tents were. These were just various tents set up just to provide shade, and
it was right there, kind of right in front of the courthouse.
Okay.
There was one area he had 2 or 3 tents with several tables, and they passed out water and
just for folks just to kind of sit down, take a breast, or eat their lunch or whatever.
And it was a big asset.
Yeah. Okay. Well, consider that because that is a good idea, just to provide a space for some shade and some space to sit down and eat your lunch.
It's a good community service for a church or a civic organization or anyone to be a part of.
Something as simple as that. You don't have to be selling anything or anything. Just set up a tent and provide a place for some shade and some seating.
Right.
So, good deal. Gentlemen, thank you all so much for what you do for the community, the Optimist Club as well, and we will continue to promote and help make this year's Blackpatch Heritage Festival one for the books. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, just let us know and keep us up to date on things, and we'll keep the word out here at WPKY the Tiger. Thank you all very much. That's Roy Gene Rogers and George Kilgore. They're with the Princeton Optimist Club, and we've been talking the Blackpatch Heritage Festival here on your hometown radio station WPKY the Tiger. That's going to wrap up this edition for Tiger Talk here on the Tiger. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on